Pastor Luke here with you. Today is a bittersweet day. Today we officially transitioned from the Compass West Church to a standalone church called the Anchor Church. Like I said, it's a bittersweet day. We've been part of the Compass family for the past 8 years, and we are so thankful for the opportunity that we had to be a part of the Compass Church and its church planning family. But today we are transitioning to a standalone church called Anchor Church. I wanted to make a quick video to talk a little bit about how we got here, how we became the Anchor Church, and then who we are as a church. Who is the Anchor Church? So how did we get here? The Anchor Church story starts with a church plant here in Regina that started around 2009, 2010 called the Compass Church. It was led by a great guy named Pastor Blair. Him and his family moved from Alberta to Regina to plant a church that was really focused on three key things. Obviously, there's a lot that makes up a church, but it had kind of three key DNA pieces. One was a gospel-centeredness. It was focused on the gospel of Jesus. The second was it was missionally minded. It was committed to raising up men and women who loved Jesus and saw Regina as their mission field. And number three, church multiplication. They wanted to be a church that planted churches. And that's been the story of the Compass Church since its inception all the way to present day today. They're gospel focused, gospel centeredly focused, they're missionally minded, and they're committed to church multiplication. And as it lived out those kind of three key values, they ended up planting two churches, the Compass North and the Compass South. They planted the Compass North in 2014 and the Compass South in 2018. In 2020, these two churches, the Compass North and Compass South, came together. They merged into one church called the Compass West. That's been who we've been the past 2.5 years, the Compass West. And whenever you plant churches, kind of your hope and dream in planting them is that they would really grow and mature into being self-sustaining and really their own church. They really grow into their own skin, so to speak. And that's been what's happened to the Compass West over the past couple of years. We've matured a little bit. We've really grown into our own. And because of this past spring, the leaders of the Compass East and the Compass West mutually came together and decided that it's probably time for us to become a standalone church. And so that's what's happening. Now, as we move to becoming a standalone church, there's been a lot of questions around like, well, what does that mean for us? And really, outside of a name, not a whole lot is changing to who we are as a church. Our DNA of being gospel-centered, biblically faithful in our preaching and life is going to continue. Our desire to raise up missionally minded Christians is going to continue. We're committed to a missional theology, and our commitment to church multiplication is continuing. But our name is changing. So why Anchor Church? Great question. Or maybe the better question is, who is Anchor Church? Anchor Church is a community of imperfect people being transformed by Jesus for the good of the city. That's who we are. We are a community of imperfect people being transformed by Jesus for the good of our city. We chose the name Anchor Church because we desperately want to be a people who are anchored to the hope of Jesus. We live in a hopeless world. We live in a world that tells you can find hope in all sorts of places, but it's all counterfeit. It's not real hope. The only hope we desperately the only hope we can find that we desperately need is a hope in Jesus. And so we want to be a people who are not only anchored to the hope of Jesus, but are committed to sharing the hope of Jesus to the world around us, to our city of Regina, so that our city can find hope in Jesus too. They can anchor their lives to Him. We also chose the name Anchor Church because we think it represents really a strong desire we have as a church to be kind of a safe harbor for people who are hurting. We want to be a place that people can come and so to speak, let down their anchor and kind of stay a while to find healing, to find hope, to find Jesus and be transformed by Him. And so that's a little picture about who we are and who we're becoming. There's obviously a lot more that goes into becoming a standalone church, and we're going to be talking about in the weeks and months ahead and unpacking more about who we are and our mission here in our city. But we want to just give you a quick insight into Anchor Church, who we are, how we got here, and who we're becoming. So Anchor Church, Who are we? We are a community of imperfect people being transformed by Jesus for the good of our city. And we are excited, we are praying, and we are asking God to really lead and guide us as we seek to live out that call in the city of Regina.